the lesson of going back to roots or living in harmony with nature. UN had identified this problem way before and have come up with the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. Today, we have with us another warrior of sustainable development who is into the same doing small things in a big way. Welcome, viewers, to Inspire Me Today's show. And before we begin, I would like you to subscribe, share, comment, follow on our social media handles and like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and also check out our website www.mystartuptv.in. Well, I welcome Lakshmi Menon on My Startup TV. I can never begin the interview without using this Malayalam tagline, Chumma Tirikade, Chumma Tirichadu, Amummatiri, which means when she tried to kill boredom, it led to the emergence of the product. The tagline of your first ever product. Being a designer by profession, people usually get into the field of glamour of designing and innovation. What drove you into the making of Amumatiri and how did you correlate the product with sustainable development, ma'am?
Hey, Aparna, thank you so much for having me here in the first place. And delighted to share my experience through the projects. I kind of like the glamour world and everything, and I kind of maintain a balance between the one with the glamour and the one without. Because I'm a full-fledged designer still, and I've been designing jewelry for New York Fashion Week and things like that. Um, but I think by profession I'm a designer. I've designed interiors, jewelry, clothes, and things like that. And in other projects, I design lives. That's only difference. So I kind of apply the same rules of a design in every projects that I do. Um, Regarding Amumatri, it was serendipity that played the vital role, in bringing out that Wixton project. I was looking at my grandma making the wigs for the prayer room, and seeing how calm she was, how much she was enjoying that task of rolling the wigs. I thought, this could be one task where she could spend more time in her with her physical capacity, and seeing the success and seeing the pride that she had in doing that while I was gifting it to other people, saying that this was wigs hand rolled by my grandma, and people started giving orders to her, for more and more of these wigs. So I thought of testing it out with grannies in old age homes who were helpless in many ways, and that is how the Wixton project started. And I think, like I said, it was complete serendipity that played the vital role. But being a designer, I had to kind of present it well, package it well. And the social entrepreneur in me made me come up with compelling story to bring out the to bring out the or highlight the uniqueness or virtue of it. The kid in me coined that, that Amumatiri name, and the tagline that you just said, Chumma Tirikada, Chumma Tirichadu. Being an ardent fan of Kunyuni Kavidagal, I think, that was influence that I had while I was coining that tagline. And being a customer, I had to come up with, I had to highlight the price range, the appeal, and the brand positioning of that. So that is how so it was a mix of multiple roles that I play in my daily life, which introduced or presented Amumatiri in its current status. So I was putting a lot of perspectives from different angles. That is what made Amumatiri into its current stage.
Very interesting, ma'am. And also these names of your products, whether it is Amumatiri, the pen with love, the pen that is having a seed in it, or the wisdom pen that have quotes in it, the Chekuti dolls. Uh, what what were how were these names formulated? What was behind all these names?
I kind of like the word play in many of the things that I kind of purchase, or maybe that kinds of grabs my first attention. So, like people say, many they don't judge a book by its cover, but I do actually. When you're actually browsing through books in a shop, definitely it is the layout or the composition or the color or the name that mostly catches my attention. And once you take it, then so I did the same with my products as well. And once you get to know more about the project, the story behind it, what the initial, how it is impacting lives or the community, it will make it more interesting. So for to grab that initial attention, I really take a deliberate effort to come up with to coin words or names that are actually catchy. Pen with love, like the with in Malayalam means seed. So when I added that seed in my pen, I thought, let it be pen with love.
Yes.
So we are offering something back to the nature, right, with lots of love.
It seems like an ideal project for sustainable development also, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because everything that we do, because the organization that I have founded is called Pure Living, Pure, Pure Living, where PURE stands for products upcycled, recycled, and economized. And that is actually the DNA of our organization, and through which we kind of try to empower the weaker society, the weaker members in the society, and impact, um, harm it. I mean, create less harm to the environment. So the pure living from products, it has become projects for the urban, rural, and egalitarian. So that is where we are now with the pure living.
Yes, ma'am. Traveling all the way from Chenamangalam, a small place in Kerala, to the Google complex in California, could you narrate the story of Chekuti, an invention of yours during the Kerala floods, which actually changed the lives of many?
Um, you must have heard it from many times before, but I'll narrate it again. Like any Malayali was during those days, everybody was up to something like related to the floods. They were either in the rescue operation or in the relief operations, providing free, making food packets at home and giving it to the needy. So we were also, like myself and a team of my friends, were also like very much into this. And a friend of mine, Sir Gopinath Parel, who was actually very active in the rescue operations near the Chenamangalam area. He, once the water receded, he had visited the place just to have a look at what the condition is. And when he reached the society, the Weaver Society, Chenamangalam is actually known for the best cotton weavers, or the like they have a collect. I mean, there's a huge number of weaver societies that is in and around Chenamangalam. So when he went visited one of the societies there, we could see that he could see that like all the fresh ones, which was kept on the upper story of the building, which was not damaged, were being bought by a lot of people through many campaigns that was already started by Shalini James. But one the secretary of the society took him to the backside of the building and said that showed a huge heap of clothes that was totally damaged and which was like filthy, stinky. Couldn't even go near that. That was how bad it was. He said it was worth around 21 lakhs of rupees, and they didn't know what to do about it because the government agencies had come. They had come and inspected it. They tried to wash it, chlorinate it, bleach it, but it was in vain. They had to burn it. I mean, the only thing that they can do is option they have is to burn the entire lot of fabric. And Gopi knew about my passion for working with the damaged stuff or the waste cloth, waste, which normally people consider as waste, but for me, it's always, I kind of find a treasure in it. So he kind of called me up and said that, Lakshmi, there is such a problem here. Do you think you can do anything about it? So I said, why don't you bring a few sari from there, that the real damage, the bad ones. And he brought it, and I could see that it was completely, unusable stage. So anyway, I thought, let me give it a try. So I washed it and again like chlorinated and properly did all the bleaching and things like that. But I could still see that there was a lot of stain and those it was totally torn here and there. So but when I saw that, I could actually see the reflection of each of us on that fabric, because wherever you go, you'll get to see the stains, and every heart there was a scar. So it was pretty much the same thing that I saw in that cloth as well. So I thought, instead of just giving it away, why don't we convert it into a miniature of a Malayali? which each of us can relate to. And but we had to be very careful while placing that that doll as a product or a concept. We thought, why don't we just highlight the defects of it? So we came up with a tagline that Chekuti has stains, Chekuti has scars, but Chekuti is each of us who survived the floods. So when we just mooted that idea to the public, the media just got the crux of it, and they kind of in one day's time it was flashed everywhere. And there's a huge team that has came in as volunteers. They were like they were ready to stock. One of the volunteers, Ninu, was ready to stock all these damaged clothes in her house, and Minnie was ready to go everywhere to give demo of this product, of this doll. And it became we started doing it in a crowdsourced manner. So once it started, the next, like in 2-3 days, I had to go to US. I work half the year I'm working in US. So I had to leave for US, and I thought I have friends in Google, Mr. Gopi Kalile, who is the chief evangelist officer of Google. So I gave him a call saying that it was not even like, it was just 4 days since we plotted this Chekuti initiative. So I called up and said, this is a story. So I've come with the Chekuti. I would like to bring it to the Google. It's like, I'm coming with my nephews or nieces or something like that. And he, being a Malayali, he could instantly relate to it. He said, my family is also a Chekuti. My mom, my sisters were kind of, saved by the Navy, and the severe conditions in which they were saved from their house and things. I said, just bring it along. So we went to the Google, and he took us to the headquarters where Sundar Pichai's office, everything is there. So like in 4 days time, from Varapura Bridge to, it reached the Golden Gate Bridge, and then to Google headquarters. And that is how it was just flying high, Chekuti, because I think everybody was looking for a platform through which they could also be part of the Rebuild Kerala. Because people who are not able to financially help another person during those days, they felt that they could also be part of this big mission just by making one Chekuti. So that was a spirit that really took her to or Chekuti to higher dimensions. So that was the Chekuti story.
Okay, ma'am. From all your works, being mindful and sustainable are more like wonderful solutions for severe problems that the society projects. Problems that are actually unseen or ones that have always remained unidentified. How are you able to identify these problems and solve it with such ease and perfection?
I think the main twist that I give to when I see a problem is that the way I apply design thinking on it. And design thinking is it comprises of like 5 features. One is like empathize. Actually design thinking is a human-centric approach to any problem. So one is like empathize, that we have through exposure and experience, it is so easy for us to empathize with any situation. And then the second one comes the defining the problem. And that is the most crucial. Like Albert Einstein once said, he said if he is given like 1 hour to solve a global issue, he would spend 59 minutes for defining that problem, and 1 minute for actually finding a solution for the problem. So once you define it, it becomes so clear. You'll have like so clarity about what the real problem is. So the solution will be really, really basic and simple. So that is how I have also been approaching problem. And then 3 is like to ideate, how to go about it. Now you've got the solution, but how to approach it. So based on the situation context, we can do that. And in ideation comes design. I think design is your intelligence that is made visible. So that happens in ideation. Then comes a prototyping. Like once you have the concept ready, then you have to make a prototype. That is very, very crucial, because that kind of decides to some extent the success and the failure of that particular project. That throws more light on the issues that we are actually addressing to. Then comes the test. Once the prototype is ready, then we have to test it out. So in case of like Chekuti, we were actually trying to get it done through the weavers in Chandamangalam, but we realized that they were not trained to do any kind of a stitching. So we found out that that's not possible. That is how when we decided to go for the crowdsourcing manner. So that is how we're testing out that product, like how should we actually go about it, and how the people are actually taking it up. So that was testing that product happening there. So that is pretty much how I approach the problems and come up with simple solutions that can be done in my limited capacity.
And also, you actually transformed a part of society which is extremely termed as dependent into a self-reliant one, being it the grandmothers or the differently abled people. How did you bring this transformation?
Actually, Wigstem is a project which we started for the grandparents who are kind of helpless and we were abandoned and we're staying in old age homes. Through that, we were, people are saying that, we have converted a dependent society, dependent group into a contributing members of the society. But I guess it's kind of an irony sort of because, while growing up, there's a role reversal that is happening here. Because while growing up, we were all so much dependent on our parents or our grandparents, right? So it was their contribution that made us who we are now, what we are now. So they were initially the contributing members and we were the dependent members. And so this is just a role reversal. So I think, it's a moral imperative that, I need to do this at this stage of my life. That, whatever, so it is not, I'm not doing a favor or it is not something great about what I'm doing. I was just being, instrumental uh, in actually tapping their talents, or something that they are kind of that they are able to do it with their minimum physical and motor skills and bring in a dignity at the sunset of their lives. So this was just a very simple thing. I think like anybody of us should be doing, not through different activities through which we can actually engage our senior citizens who are such a pool of talents. So we are actually as a joint venture with a professor in IIM Bangalore. We are soon floating a platform through which we will be involving more and more of such activities of senior citizens. We have also come up with an ISI mark sort of a thing, a trademark called Grand Mark. It looks like a thumb impression. What that implies is, what it represents is, if you see it's like a trademark to show that these products or these initiatives are done by people who are above 60 years or 60 years of age. So this is a mark to identify products made by the senior citizen or any activity, that is being where a senior citizen is involved. So we would soon be floating a range of Grandmark products, Grandmark programs, Grandmark events, things like that. So Wigstem is one of the Grandmarked product. So coming up with lots of such plans to engage the senior citizen to whom we owe the most, who made us who we are now.
Okay, ma'am. Then now could you explain for the benefit of our viewers about the archaeology movement that you have kickstarted and how did that name came into existence?
As a Malayali, you must be familiar with the word akri, right? Akri means waste, scrap, and things like that. So you everywhere, like in every village, every town, you will get to see a lot of places where they store all this scrap stuff. And I kind of always get amused by the kind of collections that they have there, the stock, because I feel that all these things have some kind of a story, and I wanted to extend their life because it has already been made using a lot of natural resources, time, energy, effort, and everything, right? So instead of just scraping it, why don't into useless products? Why don't we give more value to it by upcycling or recycling it and make it really worthwhile? Everybody started like my friends who kind of knew my love for this akri, this scrap. They started calling me like my surname they had made it into Lakshmi Akri sort of. So I thought why don't I just play with this word further and give more meaning to it. So I started coined this word akriology, which means upcycling and recycling of waste. If you Google it, you will actually find it. So whatever we do with the so-called scrap or waste, we started calling it an archaeology project or an archaeology movement. So in Pure Living, what we are actually leading an archaeology movement through which anybody who is not in a who would wish to have a greener life can be part of it. So archaeology movement is all about a greener living, and through which this platform we extend the service to many more people. That is what archaeology is all about.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, now what are the risks and sacrifices that one has to encounter when it comes to social entrepreneurship?
It is just the same as any entrepreneurship. The social entrepreneurship. Um, I think in social entrepreneurship, we try to attach a lot of social causes, and we'll be mainly addressing social problems. Otherwise, the mode of the way which we function, everything, or the challenges, everything is kind of the same as any other entrepreneur. But we take a deliberate effort to bring in more value to the product or the service that we offer, by kind of involving people who are underprivileged, whom other enterprises might not be very keen to employ them as staff. So we take a deliberate effort to bring in such kind of a people. So those are the things that make social entrepreneurs different from entrepreneurship. Otherwise, if you look at the business pattern and the way it's being run, it's kind of very similar. That's especially the way we face challenges or how we overcome the challenges. It's quite the same way.
Finally, I would like to know about your future endeavors and also
There
about
is
the Karuna doll.
there are so many. Yeah, Karuna Dolls it is actually part of a platform which is a national platform which is plotted by a lot of designers like me, and people who are like working with the artisans, craftsmen, weavers. Because during this pandemic, as you know, that everybody took a hit, was like severely hit, right? And there was a lot of they were all weighed down with a lot of unsold products, so stock of theirs. So we made into a collective called Creative Dignity, and we thought, to tell the stories more, to reach to the world, the stories about the weavers, the artisans, and people like that. We would have a doll from every state, representing every state. So those were named as Karuna dolls, and the Kerala dolls were made by me. I made a tiny Kathakali and a green parrot called Kathakili. Kili means bird in Malayalam. So those were the Karuna dolls which became the Kerala representatives, and in every state we have one. So it's like, they travel from one state to the other. They share the stories of the weavers and artisans in their homeland, and that is how we had been spreading the beautiful stories and the talents of the artisans around in India. So we are actually working on it, and it is kind of, there's an overwhelming response to the collection that we have made. So very soon, actually, it will be taken into another level with, lots of more and more stories attached to it, more narratives going to come out of it. So it's in the process. So we were able to support like more than 10,000 artisans in a matter of like 2-3 months, and the big fashion houses like Okai and even Sabyasachi, Manish Malhotra, they'd all been supporting us and helping us in whichever way they can. So it's become one huge, platform, bringing together all the lovers of art.
Okay, ma'am. What's your message for My Startup TV and its viewers?
Really kind of happy that you have come up with something like this, a platform to showcase new startups that are coming, the journey, the hardships that they have to go through, and inspire more and more people, motivate more youngsters mainly, I guess, to come up with their own ideas and to float it and make it bigger and change lives of a lot of people. So good luck with it, and I'm really glad that you started something like this.
Thank you,
Kudos to the
ma'am.
team.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being us with today. We, along with all our viewers, we wish you all great success.
Thank you, and take care, everybody. Stay safe.